Welcome back to campus. We're so excited to have you here to celebrate 50 years of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary engineering with us. After so many years, the Division of Interdisciplinary Engineering Studies may be a little different than you remember. For one, the program you remember is now called the Interdisciplinary Engineering Studies degree program and resides within the School of Engineering Education. Since this major shift in 2004, we've been growing and changing in some exciting ways. So what does being an IDE mean today?
So today, IDES is an alternative pathway for students who are interested in pursuing, say, a professional degree outside of an engineering degree. So it's for students who have looked at their options for, say, pre-med or pre-law and said, I still think having that engineering background will give me a competitive advantage, and I want to do that.
You may have heard about the addition of our multidisciplinary engineering degree program that began in 2004. For those of you here who earned a BSc IDE degree and have been practicing engineering, you would have likely earned an MDE degree if it were around then. Let's hear from some of our current MDE students.
It is a way for me to be able to combine my love of art and STEM and be able to pursue engineering in a career that I'm passionate about.
I'm in multidisciplinary engineering with a concentration in theater engineering.
I'm studying acoustical engineering
and engineering management.
general engineering with a minor in management.
I really struggled to find a good discipline for me. I started in a different place than I was. And so then I looked around and found theater engineering, and it really fit who I was and what I wanted to do throughout my engineering career.
Big group of students, some of them who have a very specific idea of what they want to do, and some that have a very crazy idea of what they want to do, but no matter what it is, you combine engineering with something else and we can make it work.
The Nest is an awesome spot where students get to come and relax, first of all, regroup if necessary, make connections with their friends, work on homework, celebrate, hopefully, and just find a community.
Today, our programs are full of students who are excited to study engineering disciplines in the ways that work for them. We continue to blaze our own trail, but not without the help of our amazing faculty and staff.
Faculty are really amazing, and it's really great to have an experience at such a big school with faculty who really know you personally.
They are most of the reason why I decided to come to IDE and why I feel like this is the place where I belong and the place that I'm going to stay and graduate.
We've been told that back in the day, students joked that IDE stood for I'll decide eventually. But that's ridiculous. It actually stands for
Interestingly designed engineers.
Make daring endeavors.
Make delicious eggplant.
My destiny explored.
It's my dearest engineers.
Mitch Daniels enthusiasts.
In any case, we're proud to call ourselves IDE students, and we're so happy to have you back on campus so we can all celebrate our history together.
We are IDE.
We are MDE.
We are IDE.
We are MDE.
We are IDE.
We are MDE.
We are IDE.
We are IDE.
Fellow Boilermakers and guests, it is my pleasant duty to spend a few minutes with you today and capture a bit of history. Please join me in this short trip down memory lane back to 1969, plus or minus a few. Some of you at that stage, some of you were 18. A few of you might be a little older than that. Somebody might be in high school. And many of you weren't born in 1969. 1969 was the year that America questioned everything, especially the establishment. A few examples which I think you'll relate to. Simon and Garfunkel's, and here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. Protests about the Vietnam War. Hell no, we won't go. Sit-ins of several hundred Purdue students in the Purdue Memorial Union. Protests at our placement service because Dow Chemical was making napalm. Even streaking through the Purdue trustees' dinner dance. And finally, you will remember the word Woodstock, the ultimate weekend protest with sex, booze, and drugs. Nothing was sacred to the young people. So out of all of this, an anti-technology movement swept across the country. As you can imagine, the engineering faculty was busy ignoring the whole thing. But the Dean of Engineering, Dick Grosch, and the school heads saw difficult times ahead. Freshman engineering had enjoyed an enrollment of about 1,500 new beginners every year, and that number was dropping like a stone. What to do? The heads had an answer. We'll do nothing, we'll tough it out, this will all just go away. Well, President Art Hansen, a good Fiji, I might add, himself a Purdue engineering graduate, invited himself to a meeting with the engineering leadership. His message was very, very simple. It was so clear, I remember the exact words. Quote, "You clowns better do something about your enrollment. The other deans have asked me to transfer faculty positions out of engineering into the other academic schools." That caught everybody's attention. The message was clear: increase enrollment. The interesting Brown rules were no new schools, no new faculty, no new buildings, no new money, just attract new students. So give or take 6 months went by, and I designed and proposed a new matrix system of majors. These majors were nodes across school boundaries. Environmental engineering coursework was found in civil engineering and chemical engineering, so why not have a program that crossed those boundaries? Biomedical engineering courses were being developed in Chemi, in EE, and mechanical engineering, so we had a node that crossed those three boundaries. With a few quick memos, Dean Grosch announced the new division of Interdisciplinary Engineering Studies in September 1969, and I was appointed the founding head. Now, this is no faculty action, no committees, no nothing. This was an edict from the Dean of Engineering, and incidentally, he left within the month to become the president of RPI, so it didn't cost him a nickel to do this. So it took me a year to flesh out faculty interest and to develop sample plans of study, and interest ran high, and there were over 120 faculty members who just signed up right away. They stepped forward to serve as counselors and to develop additional plans of study as needed by individual students. 2 takeaways. Engineers solve problems. You all know that. And in 3 or 4 years, the freshman engineering beginners increased from 927, which was a real heartburn situation, to 1,500, with a total freshman engineering enrollment of around 2,500, back to normal. So, fellow Boilermakers and guests, raise your glass. Raise your glass with me to celebrate can-do engineering over the last 50 years. And more importantly, will-do engineering education for the next 50 years. Hail Purdue. And Teresa, thank you for a wonderful ride.
Hello everyone, my name is David Radcliffe. I'm the Kamyar Haghighi head and Epistemology Professor Emeritus of Engineering Education. It's really my great pleasure this evening to make a presentation to Dr. Phil Wankat, who is also Professor Emeritus, and a big surprise for Phil. And he was what was then called the Director of Engineering Education Undergraduate Programs. And if you'd been on the tour earlier on today and visited what's the nest, the space where the students are, you would have seen that in that homeroom for IDE, MEDE students, there are plaques there for Dick, who we've just heard from, and for David Kessler, the late David Kessler, who was the second director of the program, and Phil was the third. So this plaque will then be hung in the room in place of honour to recognise his enormous contributions to the programs that we're celebrating tonight. And I just want to make a particular comment about Phil, beyond his quiet, unassuming way and getting on with just doing it. The School of Engineering Education is the coming together of freshman engineering and interdisciplinary engineering, and that has allowed the school to become a school because it has an undergraduate program, and for that inspired strategic thinking we have to thank Phil. And that is an enormous contribution beyond everything else he did in IDS. So that's what we're doing. So I think Mary's going to, okay, so if you come up.
Comment, which is I had no interest in having E&E be named a school when I suggested that we combine. The reason I did that was we had graduates who were having trouble becoming professional engineers, and by combining we could get ABET accreditation and they could become professional engineers. So I did it all for the students.